I'm James from Bike Lock Wiki, and in this video we're comparing the Foldylock Compact Mini to the ABUS Bordo 6000. So let's dive straight into destruction testing and find out how these locks compare in terms of security and the quality of the materials they're built with. First up, we have a quick 1.6 meter drop test designed to simulate the knocks and drops a lock will receive throughout its life. As you can see here, after just 5 drops, the Compact Mini has very little damage apart from some light scratching to its hardened plastic outer casing. After just 4 drops, the Bordo 6000's plastic began to flake off and I was easily able to remove it by hand, which isn't a great start and especially not for such a new product. Next up we have hammer testing, where I deliver 4 to 5 heavy blows to all areas of the lock with a small lump hammer to simulate a brute force attack. I use an anvil here so that I don't destroy the concrete floor of my workshop. As you can see, no real damage to the Compact Mini, but I did notice some deep dents in the plastic housing, so I removed the plastic layer to see if there was any damage to the metal plates underneath. Removing the plastic was extremely difficult and it actually took over 4 minutes, and upon inspection there was no damage caused by the brute force attack to the Mini's plates. Now the Bordo 6000 is up next, which took a good beating and its plastic cover did split and crack slightly more. I didn't realise at the time, but upon closer inspection I noticed one of the plates had cracked in an area close to the rivet, which definitely isn't a good sign. I wasn't able to remove the cracked corner with my fingers, so I put the cracked piece into the vise and was able to remove it with a small twist, revealing a big gap at the end of the plate. Now this crack didn't go the whole way through the plate, so the rivet was still held in place, but I do think a few more well-aimed blows from the hammer and the lock would have been compromised. Hacksaw testing is one that I don't tend to spend a whole lot of time on. Unless thieves are targeting a bike secured by a cable lock, they're unlikely to use a hacksaw, as the blades are blunted fairly quickly when cutting a decent case or through hardened lock. As you can see, the Bordo 6000 took hardly any damage from a fresh hacksaw blade, and after a few minutes of sawing I'd made no real progress. I started cutting the Compact Mini with the same saw blade, which became completely blunt, so I swapped out the blade for another fresh one, which made virtually no difference. Just like the Bordo 6000, the Compact Mini shrugged off the new hacksaw blade, which made little to no progress through the 5mm hardened steel plates. Nut splitters can be used to compromise the rivets used by folding locks, since many don't feature any rivet protection. I bought a new nut splitter for this review, but realised I'd need to modify the cutting wedge so that it could pass between the plates of either lock. If you'd like to see how the nut splitter performs, I've included nut splitter and angle grinder testing in a separate video that I'll link to at the end of this review. Ultimately, almost every bike lock can be compromised with an angle grinder, but I like to find out how long a lock can resist being cut for, and I know my viewers like to see angle grinder testing as well. Bolt cutter testing up next, and I started with a small pair of bolt cutters, which I quickly gave up on as they were starting to break and made virtually zero damage to the Bordo 6000's hardened steel plates. Moving on to the much bigger 42-inch bolt cutters, I was quickly able to cut through the 6000, and I definitely didn't hurt my knee in the process. Bear in mind, however, that 42-inch bolt cutters are considered to be the largest on the market and are not possible for thieves to conceal for use on the street. That said, the Bordo 6000's plates cut fairly quickly, so I'm sure that this could be replicated with a smaller pair of bolt cutters. The Compact Mini was much more of a challenge to cut, and actually ended up pushing the blades of my bolt cutters apart even when they were fully closed. So I took time and adjusted them and attempted to cut the lock again, but as you can see here, with no luck. The Mini's plates resisted the 42-inch cutters despite displaying a significant wall wound. To be completely honest, I wasn't expecting either lock to survive, so I was massively impressed by the Compact Mini's strength. If you found this video helpful so far and value the security of your bike, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video. First up, we'll take a look at how heavy either of these locks are to carry, starting with the Compact Mini, which weighs 968 grams, compared to the Bordo 6000, which weighs 1.178 kilos. With both of these locks out of their mounts, it's clear to see why the Bordo is slightly heavier. The Bordo comes in at 90 centimeters long, making it suitable for multi-bike lockups if used correctly, whereas the compact is only 75 centimeters long, making it the ideal choice for single bike lockups. Compared to other bike locks on the market, these two folding locks are highly portable. However, with portability, sacrifices have to be made in terms of security. But that said, the Compact Mini achieved the Sold Secure Silver rating, whereas the Bordo 6000 only managed the Bronze rating. These Sold Secure ratings are for the pedal cycle category, which means they're not suitable for e-bikes, but they still do provide a relatively good level of security. Taking a look at the locking mechanisms either of these locks use, you can clearly see that neither of them use a keyhole cover. Now, ultimately, this isn't something that's going to ruin either of the locks, but it will mean that you do need to provide a little bit more TLC to the locking mechanisms over time. The Foldylock Compact Mini is supplied with 3 keys which operate its slider style cylinder, which is smooth and easy to use, and I'm yet to experience a jam or any malfunction with this locking mechanism. The Bordo 6000 is supplied with 2 keys which operate its disc detainer cylinder. I found the operation of this locking mechanism is slightly more clunky than the Foldylock Compact, but it still works well, and I'm yet to have any significant issues with it. In terms of security, both of these cylinders offer a very reasonable level of protection, and I highly doubt you'd find a thief attempting to pick either of these locks on the street. Now, both of these locks are supplied with a decent mounting system, allowing you to quickly secure the locks to your bike whilst you're riding. However, if it was my choice between the two, I'd opt for the Compact Minis. I enjoy its minimalist, no-nonsense design, and it also keeps the lock completely silent whilst you're riding, whereas I've found the Bordo 6000s can be a little bit rattly and is definitely slightly harder to mount to your bike. To summarize this video, I've really enjoyed using both of these locks with my bike over the past few weeks. However, if I had to choose between the two, I'd go for the Compact Mini simply for its increased security and portability. I was also unable to cut the Compact Mini with my 42-inch bolt cutters, whereas the Bordo 6000 cut fairly easily. If you're interested in checking out any more about either of these products, I've left the relevant links down in the description below. Additionally, if you're interested in seeing how either of these performed against an angle grinder or a nut splitter, I'll leave a link just up here. And finally, don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and I hope to see you in the next one.